another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. Today's story takes us to San Antonio, Texas, where the 18-year-old Savanah Soto and her boyfriend, 22-year-old Matthew Guerra, they were both found dead in the silver 2013 Kia Optima that police had been searching for. You see, for a few days, this was a missing persons case. And little by little, more was gonna, of course, come out. San Antonio Police Chief, Mr. William McManus, he thinks that the bodies may have been in the car for 3 or 4 days, which again, they were reported missing. And there's so much to this, and so we're gonna dive deep into what we know at this time, and we're gonna have a live discussion about it. Meaning, what do you think has occurred after we dive deep into what we know? Because truth is, there's a lot of speculation on what this could have been, right? Right out of the gate, when you hear about this story and they were missing, everyone thought that the boyfriend had did something to her. And then when they were found, everyone said, murder, you know what? And now, as you dive deeper into him and who he was, we have to question, could this be deeper? Because this guy already had a history of doing the heinous to her. And he was already on probation because of what he had already done to her in 2022. And so we're going to dive into what we know at this time. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. A Texas family, they were desperately searching for the missing pregnant teenager who was due to give birth on the day that she vanished. Savanah Nicole Soto, 18 years old, she never showed up at the hospital where she was scheduled to be induced the following day, Saturday night. And so they were looking all over for her. There was a missing persons report out on her. Savanah, according to her mother, Gloria Cordova, says Savanah was so happy because she was going to be a mommy. It breaks my heart. That's what she was sharing as, again, they were searching for the missing teenager. Miss Cordova, she said, please come home. No one's going to judge you. No one is going to say anything. I just want you to be home. Notice that, okay? There's a lot to this case. Her mom, heartbroken. She says there, no one's going to judge you, okay? I was a teenage dad. All right, with a teenage mom. And we were both, in high school. Granted, it happens a lot, but it's still not the norm. It's not normal for teenagers to have babies. But it goes even deeper because we don't really know. Is she referring to judging about the baby because you're a teenager, or is it judging the guy you're with having a baby with? Because as we find out, this guy was not really good to her. By all accounts, he was very abusive to her. But then now he's found murdered with her. But we don't know. Did he do this? Or was his dealings a cause of this problem? And so that's why it's like right out of the gate, you have to ask yourself, what is her mother referring to when she says that? But at the end of the day, she just wants her daughter back. She just wants her to come home. And according to authorities, the 18-year-old, she was last seen at her Leon Valley apartment. And when authorities put a clear out, like a clear alert, like an Amber Alert, but for adults. Now, the 18-year-old, according to authorities, they believe that she was in imminent danger or disappeared involuntarily. And at the same time, they just said her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, is also missing. So early on, it was not clear as to what is going on with a teenage girl? What happened to her? Did the boyfriend do something? And the heartbroken mom, she had said that she last heard from her daughter on Friday afternoon. Again, the day she's also supposed to be going in, because the next day she was supposed to be induced. She was a week past her past giving birth, past her due date. And so her mom, she's heartbroken. She's like, where is my daughter? And so the heartbroken mom, she said that she last heard from her on Friday afternoon, but she failed to reach her on Saturday when she decided to check on Soto at her apartment outside San Antonio. Again, she thought she was about to be a grandmother any minute. She's waiting to hear, where is my daughter? What's going on? I want to know. That is what she didn't understand. And so she goes over there, she knocks and knocks and knocks, and no one's answering the home. And so she decides, I'm going to go over to the hospital. They get there. She never came. She wasn't there. Soto was scheduled for labor induction at 6:30 p.m. this past Saturday. Okay, we're talking about the 23rd. We're talking about 2 days before Christmas. Of course, where the family is, they don't get answers. They don't get answers for a few days. And so Miss Cordova, she's like, we don't even know what happened. They said it could be anything. But she knew my daughter would never disappear like this. It's exactly what she believed. Cordova, she has also taken to social media to ask for help, posting a photo of the pregnant little young Soto. And she says, I'm worried about her safety. She is with her boyfriend who is no good. That is exactly what the desperate mother writes on Facebook. Okay. Now, of course, during this search, Matthew's mother posts to Facebook as well. Okay. And we'll get there. But during this search, when they're looking, police said that Soto, she might be in a gray 2013 Kia Optima. But here's the thing, my friends. Matthew's family was saying they may be in a Cadillac, so it was like the stories on his side were not adding up to what ultimately they even found, which led a lot of people to believe that Matthew's parents or Matthew's mom and family were just lying. But there's so much behind this. Matthew's mom, okay, she has nothing to do with this. I truly believe she has nothing to do with this. She was looking for her missing son, but she never reported him missing. She knew he has a past. If I report him missing and then all of a sudden, they find him, he's going to jail because he's on probation because of his assault on Savanah. All right. Now, again, they're both found together. As of right now, at this time, let's make it very clear. We can insinuate, we could think, we can assume whatever. But there's a lot of questions to be answered here. We don't know what happened. Okay, let's make that very clear. We'll continue to find out, but I'm sharing what we do know at this time when we dive deep into this. All right, but the mom is like, something's not right. This bizarre disappearance of Savanah, it all of a sudden, a lot of people are all over social media like, what's going on? Including a fine Savanah Soto discussion that goes off the charts. Literally goes off the charts in all of their questioning and wondering. And you know how social media can be, right? Their own take on this. And so that doesn't help situations either, because everyone starts putting their spin on everything. Okay, so I think it's key to keep ourselves in mind as to what it is that everyone is saying at this time. Okay, I think that it's key to keep that in mind. But there is a group. If you're trying to follow this story, there is a group, and in the group they are, people are gonna speak, but you can see the Find Savanah Soto group. Okay, and in that group you can see right here. But here is the truth, my friends. Here's the truth. This is still a developing story. Through here, there is a lot of information going out. All right. And of course, you're always going to have your internet sleuths playing their game. I tried to play detective too, so I'm not going to be judging, right? I like to play detective, but in this case, I always try to do my best to remember the victim or victims, okay? And so I'm not going to start throwing a lot of what a lot of people start sharing, but there's a lot to this story. Right out of the gate, people were questioning what could have gone wrong in this. And so at first it was like, find Savanah Soto. And then it is now we want to find more answers. We don't really have all the answers, do we? Right? We don't have any answers. This is still a developing story. And so as we're going into it, we want to see exactly. Okay, but mom wants answers. She's sick to her stomach about this. She does not know how anyone can do this. And so she's still waiting for some answers, but this was a bizarre. There's already over, like almost 20,000 people in this crazy group because, of course, you got your internet sleuths, you got your people who like to put their own discussions in it, but you're talking about 35,000 members in this group. And with that, it's going to continue growing. Just yesterday was 17,000. Now it's 35,000, right? The discussions under hashtag Savanah Soto has garnered more than 7 million views on TikTok as of Tuesday at noon. Today's Wednesday of this video. But here's the truth. You also got to remember that you have Savanah, who a lot of people, including Matthew's parents, misspelling it with 2 N's. Her name is correctly spelled with 1 N. And so you're going to have it with 2 N's. You're going to have it with 1 N. But if you do the hashtag Savanah Soto with an H at the end, after Savanah. So social media users, they've even accused Soto's boyfriend, Guerra, of abuse. And they even took to social media about some of the images that showed some abuse. And so that right out of the gate made people believe, okay, there's a lot to this. And now we want to know more. Karen Hernandez, when she posted, this is when they were both missing. And she even posts, if anyone knows my son, Matthew Guerra, he and his pregnant girlfriend are missing. I know my son and he wouldn't do anything to hurt her. She is due to have baby. Her things were left behind. She was due to have baby. Her things were left behind that she packed for hospital, including her purse. The neighbors said they heard Savanah screaming for help. And the next morning they said that they saw them get into Cadillac. Okay, the Cadillac was first reported by his side of the family. All right, police said they were looking for the car they ultimately were found in. It says she says my son's phone says the caller is unavailable and their car is not at their apartment. As a mother, I know my son and his girlfriend were taken against their will because my son does what he does for money. He is not an abusive boyfriend. This gets better because family members from Savanah's side replies to this post. Give me a minute. And so she admits right here, this is her Facebook profile, my friends. She admits, I know my son and his girlfriend were taken against their will. That's what she says. That's not the part that she's admitting because I'm assuming she misspoke there, but we'll find out. But she says they were taken against their will. She says, my son does what he does for money. He is not an abusive boyfriend. Okay? That's what his mom, Matthew Guerra, Karen Hernandez, says. All right? Matthew is the son. And she says, it's envy and those who hate on others who don't need anyone that have something to do with my son and his girlfriend missing. Please help. If anyone knows anything, let me and his brothers know. All right. This person says, really speaks out. I think I said I, I, I I am not too sure who Joni Sophia is, but there's more to this, okay? But she says, bull crap, I'm going to shorten it. Your son beat TF. You know what that means, right? The F. Out my little sis-in-law. All right. So this can obviously be backed up, no problem. But this is sis-in-law, okay, sister-in-law of Savanah. All right. And always put hands on her while she was pregnant. We'd see marks all over her. When she came home with her face broken and her eyes shut, she wouldn't come around. Your son brought whatever happened to her and our nephew onto them, and for that we gun talk our SHIT. His own brother said Matthew was abusive when he was texting my bro-in-law. So what? She's basically calling Karen a liar, saying, why would you say he wasn't abusive when we saw it with our own eyes? And they said, the neighbors have already gotten statement of her yelling and screaming for help last night. Obviously, you ain't know your son from FR, not too for real, but we all know WTF, and it's, he did to her. F out of here. You can read that, okay? But you can see this Joni Sophia is upset. Sister-in-law to Savanah. And we do know that there's actual truth to this, okay? Because he was already in trouble. He was already in trouble for this, for putting hands on her, okay? For doing the thing you do not do. And so he, truth is, he was in trouble. He was arrested several days after Christmas, 2022. He attacks her on Christmas Day, 2022. All right. And so Savanah, she was attacked by Matthew Guerra. All right. This was a year when they were found in the car. It was a year and a day after Guerra attacked her on Christmas Day. All right. They're found on Tuesday, December 26th. This assault happened last year, 2022, on Christmas. All right. And so Matthew, he was arrested several days after the Christmas Day assault for making in-person contact with her. All right. He was charged with violating a protective order. And so that charge later was dismissed in April of 2023 due to a missing witness. Guerra, he refused to comply with a court-ordered anti-domestic violence program while on probation. That's what court records also show. He was later charged with other crimes, including unlawful carry of a weapon, evading arrest in a vehicle, and reckless driving. He was also charged with failing to comply with the battering intervention and prevention program that the court had ordered him to attend as a result of his Christmas Day assault on Soto. And so, let's be real, there were problems. A later probation order issued in June of this year, 2023, it did allow Matthew to have contact with Soto under one condition, as long as it was not harmful or causing any type of injury. And so the probation order banned Guerra from possessing any firearms. All right. We don't know if there's been a firearm that was found when they were found. The judge also extended the end of Guerra's probation from June of 2024 to February of 2025. All right. And so he was in trouble for doing what you never do to the one you love, to anyone, right? You don't just abuse other people, period, physically at all. All right. So he was in trouble because of that. Now, San Antonio police, they're now investigating the death of both of them. And so An autopsy is being done to determine the cause and the manner of their death. And let me tell you, once that comes out, we'll know a lot more. All right? We'll know a lot more. But truth is, could it be that it was just him himself who did this to both of them? Right out of the gate, that's your first thought. If you follow this story, then this came to light and it's like, oh my God, he did that, especially considering that he's hurt her before. But then when you see his background, it's like, well, I mean, could someone else been getting revenge? Well, let's dive a little deeper. We're not done diving deep into this, because there was a problem between, okay, let me rewind a little bit. All right. You see, Savanah Nicole Soto, again, who was found dead with her boyfriend. Okay, her younger brother, Ethan Soto, 15 years old. He was shot dead in what is believed, to be an act of revenge for a drug robbery in May of 2022. All right. Now, as you can see, the characters that we are discussing, I mean, they're not angels. They're not angels. All right. I can tell you, no one deserves to die from these type of activities. And here Ethan Soto was 15 years old, involved in these type of heinous crimes. Okay. So Savanah Soto, 18 years old, involved with a guy who is he's in with the wrong crowd. All right. She still didn't deserve this. I don't know if he did this to her. If he didn't do this to her, he didn't deserve this either. I'm going to just flat out say that. He's abusive, but he doesn't deserve to be killed for it. He deserved to be abused for it. I will say that, but not to this extent, So I think it's fair that we try to play all sides to understand, because when you find out that Ethan Soto was shot dead, all right, we're not done. Ethan Soto, the brother of Savanah, he was shot dead in what is believed to have been an act of revenge for a drug robbery that he committed in May of 2022. And so with that, it's like, that's what San Antonio police are sharing. But then when the person who killed him was convicted in the court of law, family took it into their own hands when they got into the courtroom and beat the bejesus out of him. So could this be an act of violence? Let's take a look at that real quick. Let me see, where's my screen at? And this makes you wonder, like, all right, could this be what happened to him? Right? Could this be? But give me a second here. Let's see. Okay. Let me rewind that. You can see here where they're beating him. Just beating on this, whoever the guy is that killed Ethan Soto. All right. In here, in that crowd that you see demolishing this person, I don't know who it is. As you can tell, it takes a little while to actually get this even stopped. You can tell in here, okay, all the people that were beating this guy up, it consisted of Savanah's brothers, okay, and stepbrothers. All right. They were all just trouncing this guy. And so you got to ask yourself, was this a hit? Was this something that they wanted someone else to pay from Ethan's side? That's what makes it not an open and shut thing. There's a lot to these sides of this. And so you have to ask, like, could this have anything to do with it? And in the process of this, it's like, okay, they're both found. We don't really know until the autopsies are done. We're not going to know more than that, are we? But They both were found in the Kia car that they were looking for. Okay. And so with that, it's like, all right, now that we know more, they were searching, they find the two, but then it's like, all right, this was 2 days after they vanished when no one knew, she was due to be induced into labor. They vanished. No one knows where they're at. Then they're found the day after Christmas. All right. They're found in the parking lot behind an apartment building. Okay. The couples, they were found inside a vehicle on the northwest side of the Colinas medical apartments in San Antonio, Texas. And so this is like, she's 9 months pregnant. All right. She never shows up at the hospital. Of course, everyone's like, what's going on? And it comes out really quick. But what happens is the San Antonio police chief, describing this whole thing, he tells reporters that the crime scene is very complex and perplexing. What does that even mean? Like, this is not an open and shut case is the first thing that pops in my mind. And he says detectives right now are looking into this as a possible murder, but we don't know for sure. Again, possible murder. Okay, but he also says we don't know. It's still a murder if he did it. All right, so possible murder, but we don't know if it's a murder, Now, one person who said that they claim to be, the sister-in-law, Mariana Delgado, she posted on Facebook that Soto's body had been found early that evening, and that she was in, and I saw the post. She posted bad condition. Like, she got her eyeballs on it and she saw what was inside. Okay. Now, Soto's mother, Gloria Cordova, she said Savanah was so happy because she was going to be a mommy. So we know that she didn't do this to herself. But we also know that she probably thought Savanah might have ran away and was going to keep the baby from her, because she says, no one's going to judge you. No one is going to say anything. I just want you to be home. At that time, she just thinks she's missing. She left. She doesn't know. Right? And so, according to Cordova, Soto was ready to become a mom, had the nursery done, planned on giving birth with her mother in the delivery room. So they had this plan, and that's why her mom goes to the hospital. And now she's like, I don't know what happened. No one knows what happened. And in this, it's like, okay, where do we go from here? Let me know in the comments what you think happened. Okay? Try to be respectful to her family, please. And I think that this is key. But let's look at some of the social media posts that was shared, because that might play a role as well. Do you think? All right. Let's take a look here. But this was one post by The Streets that posted on here and posted, if anyone sees my brother, this is while they were missing. If anyone sees my brother Matthew or his girlfriend Savanah, please contact us ASAP. Him and his girlfriend are both missing, last seen in a Cadillac. Now, the Cadillac, it doesn't mean that this could be wrong information, because maybe on their side, the last time they saw Matthew was in a Cadillac. We don't know. Some person said around her apartment that they saw them get into a Cadillac. We don't know how some of this misinformation can start. But please share this post. If anyone has heard or seen anything, please help us find them both. We are effing worried, sick, and don't know what to do. Cops already been alerted and are looking for them as well. All right. But again, he's never reported missing by his family. All right. And I told you what the reasoning behind that could be. Sabian Anthony is a cousin. Okay. Karen Hernandez is his mother. All right. The Streets is, I guess, somebody, and that's his brother. And so they were both missing. and no one knew, but they were questioning, at least from her side, Savannah's side, they were questioning what went wrong, what happened. But, this guy had a side hustle that had to do with some people that you don't mess with. Okay? People that can only wonder what are they capable of. But a lot of stuff has been going on out there. But let's think about, there is so much evidence of DV and Savanah and Matthew's relationship. All right? Could that have been something? That to me leaves questions. And this talk about a car seat on her lap. Again, a lot of people are talking about it because when I look at the picture, it definitely looks like a car seat, at least in the front seat. Multiple people have been sharing different things out there. All right. And so with that, it's like, this is just terrible. Okay. And in this, even, through this, let me share this with you. Guerra's family themselves are questioning a whole bunch through this. You can see how they said right here, this is after it came out, our lives are forever changed. This is Guerra's side of the family, okay? We will never be able to hold our grandson, Fabian. They did know it was going to be a boy. We so anxiously awaited his arrival. Everyone was. Matthew's side of the family, Savannah's side of the family. This is a heartbreaking story in so many levels. So many levels. It's one of those surreal, like, I don't even know which way to think, which way to look. But they were anxiously awaiting. They even referred to Savanah as daughter-in-law Savanah and grandson. All right. That was definitely grandson, daughter-in-law. They weren't married. I don't think you can put common law if you haven't been together on 7 years. I don't know how that stuff goes. But they even asked, please keep Savanah Soto's family in your prayers. And they're working with Leon Valley Police Department. So they're going to try to explore every angle that they can in this process. Okay. So I think it's key that as we're trying to figure this out ourselves, this is the type of stuff that we have to question. But let me know in the comments what you think happened. All right. According to Chief McManus, he says, I'm not going to say anything officially about whether the person in the vehicle was pregnant or is pregnant. Meaning, did the baby come out after death? Was the baby... Something I learned through this case is what's called like a coffin birth. Like, I didn't just take one person's word for it. I dug into it. And there is a such thing that after a pregnant person passes, they can, if they're pregnant, it could be 2 days later, the baby comes out. So this is news to me. I'm still learning that stuff. I hope I'm not out of place talking about that because I'm trying to share what we know. And so did that actually happen? So when Chief says, he's not going to say anything or, about whether she was, pregnant or is pregnant, there's a difference, right? And so he didn't want to say anything officially. And he says he's going to wait till the medical examiner says anything themselves before he's going to give an official statement. But they're found in the Kia Optima that the police were looking for in the parking lot of the Colinas at Medical Apartments on the northwest side. And so through that, they were already looking. They were on the search for them. All right. First, they were looking for him as he's not reported missing, so he's a person of interest. But then they find them together, So you can speculate a lot behind that just simply because something crazy has occurred, period. And I noticed on her page, someone has been putting updates on there. Someone is my guess, because this looks to be her page. Okay. And she had the page for a long time, from what I can tell. And here, it seems like since they discovered her, a lot had been posted to this page. So someone obviously has some access to it. And here is, I'm not going to play this. I'm not even going to share some of the, this is supposed to be Matthew's cousin. Matthew's cousin really shared stuff that law enforcement didn't. Now, again, as family who's nearby, they could have ran over to the car, got quick, oh my gosh, before police got there. Because, again, I'm trying to stick with facts and share some of what you can help get form your own opinions about. But what this girl was sharing, I don't know that I believe. But again, someone shared this video to share what happened and this is supposed to be a cousin who's supposed. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think about that in that. But you can tell someone was sharing about this, about her case. And they changed the profile picture. As I saw the profile pic itself, this profile pic was just put up there. I don't know why it's not showing. There we go. You can see 18 hours ago. All right. Which, like a final peace out type is how I took that. It's heartbreaking in so many ways. You know, I can tell you as someone who's been in relationships I probably should not have been in. Sometimes we pick the wrong person to be in love with. You know, has she had someone completely else in her life? There's probably a good chance she'd still be alive today. But again, we don't really know because we don't know everything involved yet. So that's my take, my thoughts, my share. My friends, let me know in the comments what you think happened to Savanah Soto and her boyfriend. You know, at the end of the day, we don't know much. So I'm not going to go out there and say something sinister is, you know, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to. This is just tragic in so many ways. And this is why I do these type of stuff. Because Savanah, her story deserves to be heard. And this is Savanah. She was excited to be a mother. She was excited to explore a whole new reality. We don't know if she was done with this guy, because I could guarantee you, they weren't going to be spending the rest of their lives together. Everyone has a breaking point. We don't know if this was his breaking point. We don't know if this was done because of what happened to Ethan Soto, Savanah's brother. We don't know. There's so many unanswered questions, but we're going to know more. But what we do know is a lot has occurred, and now we wait to continue to find out more. Rest in peace to Savanah Soto. And, you know, when you look at this, Matthew, here he is in an image. His side gig was not legal. His mom has admitted it. He was up to no good on his side stuff. Is that what caused him to lose his life along with her? We don't know. I mean, Ethan's killer, he was beaten up in court. Is that enough reason to try to get revenge and take a life of a baby too? Because it was obvious she was pregnant. So it's hard for me to go with that. If I had to take a guess, I'm going with the M/S. That's what I'm going with if I had to take a wild guess. But we're going to find out more. Rest in peace to the three of them taken from the world way too soon. My friends, if you're a person of prayer, please pray that the family gets justice, that the family gets answers, that the family finds some way to find closure. Truth is, they may never find closure, right? But, you know, if there's a way that they can do some type of memoriam, some type of way to keep the memory alive, It's not going to bring them back. I don't even know. I don't even have an answer of how the family's going to feel this. So I ask you to please pray. If you're a person of prayer or just, hope, I don't know. I just wish them well. I hope that we find some answers. But once that autopsy comes, if it's anything new, any breaking news, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that I can keep you updated when we share any information. And, my goal is to keep you updated on what could go wrong in this crazy world that we live in. Because truth is, it is a crazy world we live in. And sometimes we choose people that cause our demise. Sometimes we choose the wrong person that leads us down the wrong. But if you think about, all the aspects of this, it should not lead to the death of 3 people. But again, we don't really know. I'm Manny Rodriguez, and this has been another episode of Deep True Crime. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to get more updates, because if there's any updates around this Savanah story, I will bring it to you. Thank you for joining me on another episode, and have an amazing day. Peace, or try.